You're listening to Season 6 of the Three Angry Giant Fans of the Jet Fan podcast, sponsored by Carolina Beer Temple. Join us weekly as we complain about our team's dismal performances, the shenanigans in the NFL, and other assorted nonsense. We also give our pet peeves and answer listener questions. Check us out on YouTube. Go to our website, angryfootballfans.com, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours. We have a lot of fun doing this. We appreciate all the support. Go Jets.
Tush Push hurts, leans forward, ball is taken away from Kayvon Thibodeau. Did they blow the whistle? It looks like they did. Now, you can't reach the ball forward unless you're at the goal line. It's a live ball when you do that. Oh. Well, there's a lot there. I thought he had the first down initially, first of all. And then that, Dean, that's a live ball, right?
They're ruling forward progress. To me, he is pushing forward. He is reaching. That is an early whistle, in my opinion.
Oh, my God. They defend it, and they get the fumble, but all for nothing.
Yeah, that's tough. That should be a fumble. I mean...
So that's the call of the Tush Push play. Controversy again on Tush Push. A play that just keeps rearing its head. Guys, we'll get into this. There's a lot to discuss with the officiating, a lot to discuss with what the Eagles were doing. But we are the Three Angry Giant Fans and the Jet Fan podcast. Your host, Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Angry Jets fan, Novak. And we got a special guest tonight. JP, John Pierce, is in the house. He's a repeat guest. So I know he was angry and bitter over yesterday as well.
No doubt about it, Scott. You and I have many conversations about the officiating, and this one pretty much took the cake for me. Not happy at all. It's gotten worse as the season has gone on, and there's got to be something to be done about it. It really does. If nothing else, I think that play alone, the Tush Push alone, is put the death knell in it for ever. They're going to look at this date and they're going to say, you know what? We can't officiate it correctly. Let's get rid of it. It's got to be pushed through that, and that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, we were saying that yesterday that basically the best thing about this game is that the Tush Push died. The Tush Push probably died in the first game the Giants played with them, but this is even worse. I mean, I'll get into some of the stats about the Tush Push in a bit, but. Guys, the play's got to go. If you can't officiate it correctly, if you can't regulate what's going on, it's got to go.
I'll believe it when I see it, when they ban it, because I don't know, it's just here to stay right now. The one yesterday, we were barking throughout the entire play, and we didn't have the audio. We were at the bar, and so we didn't hear that. We couldn't hear the broadcast, didn't have the audio, but apparently they did go to New York for that play, and so we were. When you look at that play, how is that play over? I mean, we can break it down as much as we want. I mean, we've seen what's a miracle about that play, and pick any one of them, is that the whistles never blow. The whistle never blows on that play because there's always that second, third, and even fourth effort sometimes where an entire fucking pile of 22 players gets pushed across the goal line. We've seen that, or the first down mark or whatever. But in this particular instance, when the ball comes out, it goes for naught. It just they keep the play, first down, everyone calm down, everyone. There's not going to be a turnover. So
just because they're going for the first down, it's not the goal line. The tip of the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? And so when he fumbled the ball, and they said this, when he fumbled, if that was a fumble, he was short of the line. If his forward progress was stopped, as they said, his forward progress was stopped before the line. So it should have been turnover on downs, forget the fumble. And that didn't happen either. So
here's what I don't understand is Dable challenges. They tell him he can't challenge because the whistle blows. So he throws the challenge flag again. And I think it was a fuck you to say, look at the play so you can see where you fucked up. But his point was, I want the spot of the ball challenged. And that's the point that really is being overlooked here. If you didn't get it and you said the whistle blew before the fumble, then the whistle blew before he got the first down. And so Dable actually was correct in challenging that because the spot of the ball should have been short of the line to gain, because if the whistle had blown, which by the way, the whistle did not blow until the ball was in Kayvon Thibodeau's hands.
Yeah.
And I'll also tell you this. We've seen time and again where the whistle doesn't matter when there's a fumble. As long as there's a clear recovery, they don't give a shit about what the whistle says. I've heard that over and over again. Play through the whistle because it's more about the fumble and who recovers it. There was a clear recovery by the Giants, and so no matter which way you look at that play, the Giants were screwed. And I don't know how the officials can actually stand by that call. And actually, expedited replay, did that come into play in there? If they went to New York, what did New York say?
That
the play was stopped.
The reason that play is going to be the death of the tush push is for what you just said, Scott. They just proved that you can't defend it. You can't defend it, and if you do, they're gonna give the ball to the Eagles anyway. So, it makes no sense to me. That thing that made me the maddest about it was, if you go back and you watch it, if you go frame by frame, Hurts is moving forward when the ball is ripped out of his hands.
Right.
He's still inching forward. If they had that quick a whistle on every tush push that's ever been run, then only about half of them would have worked.
Right.
So they're just going to say the whistle blows when Philly gets a first down? Is that what the minute? So for the tush push, the way they officiate it essentially is, Novak, you made the point that they're not going to the end zone there. They're trying to cross the 10-yard line. But apparently in the official's mind, once the Eagles get the first down, that play's dead.
Right. So to that point, Mike, even further, right? So exactly, the play ends when we break the plane. We know that, but for a first down, so usually, what does the announcer say? And Johnson has a first down and more. The play's not over just when he crosses that line to gain. So to your point, Mike, right? He's still going forward. So it's not just he gets a first. Oh, he got a first down. Play's over. It's just move the chains.
Of course, the other thing that they started saying a few weeks back on these fumbles and everything is look, officials, if you call forward progress, there's no way we can make that right. So let the play out. Call it as you see it on the field. We've got replay for that. We've got New York for that. We can make sure that we got the call right. But no, not in this case. I mean, the whistles aren't blowing. Thibodeau's got the ball. He's crawling after the ball. That's when the whistles start blowing. And they're coming in and doing this as if they're saying, no, fuck you, Giants. You don't have shit. You don't have the ball. That's a first down. It's one of the more infuriating plays I've ever seen. And thank God I didn't see it live. Not that it matters. I got just as hot when I actually did finally see it. But, yeah.
How do you miss that? I mean, I can't wrap my head around how the hell do you miss a call like that? And by the way, I got my Eagles fan buddies are texting me, oh man, I'm sorry about that. That absolutely was a fumble. Yeah. That's great. That's fucking great. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thanks for the slap on the back and the acknowledgement that it was a fumble. And then they had the audacity to say, "Well, Jackson Dart fumbled too." I'm like, let's look at the context of the game. Which do you think was more important at the time? Do you think Jackson Dart's hand coming forward would have been more important, or a critical juncture in the game like the fumble was for that? Well, no. Oh, okay, then zip it. Yeah. I mean, it's just.
That didn't make it even.
And I'll lead into this because we're going to get into this right away when we start talking about the Giant game. But before we get to that, let me give a shout out. So here's one that's sort of we call it upstate New York. It's not as far up as I grew up, but it's in upstate New York. So hello, Wallkill, New York. Population 30,500. It's in Orange County near Middletown, and it's known for producing gunpowder in the Revolutionary War. I really wanted to know how Wallkill was named. I couldn't find that. But a portion of Wallkill was donated to build a church in 1787, and that became known as Scotchtown because of the number of Scottish families that lived there. So Scotchtown is a subsidiary of Wallkill, which is right there near Middletown.
By the way, as soon as you leave the city limits of, I guess it's Bronx, Like as soon as you get to the West, that is upstate. Like ask anybody from New Jersey or certainly like the city. Upstate is they even talk about it on Seinfeld. I think they talk about upstate. So that is upstate, Scott. You don't have to be. All you have to do. You don't even have to reach what used to be the Tappan Zee Bridge, right? That was sort of like you're in Westchester County. You're in upstate New York. Go. That's ask anybody.
I'm gonna make a bet that Wallkill has an awesome high school football team. Wallkill,
right.
like it seems pretty badass. Like I would imagine they must be good.
They're probably something like the Wallkill Beavers. It's probably a really bad.
Yeah, right, they kill it.
Yeah, nothing like the Wolves or anything like that. Yeah.
There's also a fish kill up there somewhere.
There
too.
is a
So
fish
there's
kill.
There's a fish kill.
Yeah.
And a cat's kill.
That's right.
And actually, no, I said that because I went to ChatGPT to get the origin of the Wallkill name, and it doesn't know either, but it does know that in those New York towns that have kill at the end, that kill is Dutch for creek.
Oh.
So like the Catskill Mountains is the Cat's Creek Mountains, like the what is it? The Fishkill is Fish Creek, and Wallkill is Wall Creek, I guess. Unclear on what the wall means.
What I love about this podcast, we educate people.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right.
It's not just about football.
You just educated me. I mean, we're educating ourselves.
So getting to the Giants-Eagles game, we talked about the tush push there. Guys, I have not seen a game as poorly officiated. And when I say poorly officiated in this game, I mean the contradictory calls that were made for each team. So there was a play, third down play, Giants get a stop. The Giants are called for defensive pass interference, and on the replay, it looks like the Eagle guy throws the Giant to the ground. Third down conversion. Drive keeps continuing. Later in the game, yeah, it was third and long. Later in the game, I think it was 31-13 at that point. Slayton catches a touchdown pass. There is video of his jersey being pulled as if it's a Nebraska player from the 70s with the midriff. And somehow Slayton's called for offensive pass interference, wipes out a 68-yard touchdown pass. Another 3rd and 4. The Eagles snap the ball, and the Giants are called for offsides when it was clear that the Eagles guard moved before the play started. Obviously, those plays are usually never missed. This one was missed. And then, even on the Scatabo injury, which we'll get to, we heard about the emphasis on a hip drop tackle. I've not seen a hip drop tackle called on anyone this year. And I'll tell you what, Cowboy fans have to be livid about this too, because CeeDee Lamb was injured on a play that looked like a hip drop tackle. There wasn't a flag on that one either. But Scatabo, his ankle starts looking the other way than anyone else's ankle. And if you look at the replay, it's a hip drop tackle. There's a lot of missed plays here. And on the heels of what the NBA just had happen, you have to start asking questions. It's not possibly intentional, but how do you miss calls like this? And to John's point earlier, what's the remedy for this? How do you overcome it? Because you can't continue to have this in the game. But I will tell you this: 2 weeks from now, no one will care about any of these calls.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. The funny thing is, I started this season with sort of the idea that I'm not going to be an official blaming guy. Like these games are what they are. Every team gets bad calls. I know the Giants seem to get more. It's probably because I watch them a lot, but I'm not going to be that guy this year. And then here comes this game. And in my opinion, I can't talk about this game without talking about the officiating. It's impossible to just say, oh, screw the officiating. Both teams got their bad shake, and the score is what it is, and the Eagles are, 100 points better than the Giants. Whatever. I can't do that today. I can't.
Well, and the reason why, Mike, if I can just add on to that thought, if you like, when you see, in our text threads, and I'm on multiple different threads, Giant fans, we're talking about the game and such. When you get a link to a compilation of bad plays for one team and against others in the same game, well, then that fucking tells you something, because it's not just one play. There's a collection. It's called a compilation. I'm like looking through this. I'm like, and there's 5 plays listed and this is one game. So that's what makes, and to your point, Mike, I try to say the same thing every week where every team deals with awful calls, getting screwed, this, whatever you want to call it. And I try not to be that guy, but it's just when it's so egregious, and it's not even the subjective ones, the PIs and the legal context, those ones everyone deals with. But when the ones that you just offsides, delay of games, false starts, those aren't like that's just a fact that something happened. A guy moved early, you just call it. That's not one you can debate. And that's happening. We saw yesterday an offensive lineman move and he gets called on the other team. Those are the ones that just absolutely you can't digest. You just can't.
You remember, I know it's a year ago, but I still can't let it go with the face mask call where Bellinger got face mask against Dallas and they called face mask and then they walked it off against the Giants and nobody said anything. I mean, those are, I don't care. Those are oddities, right? And every now and then a game like this comes along and, you have people like Eagle fans like, come on, we beat you 38-20, dude. But, the fumble, the tush push fumble is a game altering sort of play.
The play after the tush push is a touchdown pass to Barkley.
Yeah.
It's 7-7 at that point. If the Giants get the ball, it's 7-7 Giants ball.
Yeah.
You took away a touchdown from the Giants on Slayton's catch. That's another 7 points.
That's exactly where I'm going. And it's not, the score is completely different. I'm not even saying the Giants win. I'm just saying we're playing a different football game at that point. It's a different game. When all these calls start going against you, and you're allowing the Eagles to pick up 3rd and 15 on a phantom pass interference. And when the Giants are trying to get back in the game, you're calling them for offensive pass interference. And when a critical stage of the game, you're calling the Giants for offsides when the Eagle moved. Those things have a snowball effect on the game. And just every time one of them happens, you're altering the outcome somehow. I think that the Eagles were given, in my opinion, 14 to 17 points in this game. When I went back and tortured myself and watched it again, but maybe the Giants got 7 as well. Who knows? It's all the whole thing's gonna play out differently. But anyway, I hate being this guy. I don't like being this guy. I beg the NFL, just stop me from being this guy. Let's just play a game where a fumble's a fumble and a fucking pass interference is pass interference. And we were laughing on the DPI against the Giants because we're like, if anything happens, that's offensive pass interference on the Eagles. And we're all like laughing like, yeah, they're going to call that. They don't call OPI anymore. Well, sure as shit. Here comes the Giants and there's your OPI. I'm done with it, man. I'm done. And then to just put a cherry on top, of course, we have something exciting and nice happening to us. Malik Neighbors, Cam Scadaboo. Yep, see you later, guys. Enjoy your off season. It's tiresome.
Can we at least get a small golf clap for Slayton actually catching a ball without
a little bit? We'll give something.
That's true.
And staying on his feet,
and staying on his feet and actually scoring on the play. I mean, little things, Mike. I was impressed about. And of course, all for naught. I couldn't agree with you more. The game we shouldn't be talking about officiating after a ball game. We should be talking about the level and the plays that happen during the game, right? The athletes that are playing the games. I mean, too many times it just seems like officials are hogging the spotlight and hogging the discussion points after games, and it's got to stop somewhere. I don't know where to begin.
I think, Mike, you're right in that it's. I got to give officials a pass for one egregious miss, maybe even 2. You had 5.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where it comes into play. I'm not an official guy. You guys know that. I never complain, or very rarely complain about officiating. But when it's one after the other, after the other, after the other, you have every right to say that affected the outcome of the game. But you have to give grace. Every now and then, it's just going to happen, and you got to overcome it, even if it's at a bad part of the game. You just deal with it because everyone gets it. But this one seemed very weird, and it was one after the other at critical parts of the game.
And Collinsworth brought this up on the Sunday night broadcast. He asked the question, when does assisted replay really come into play? And that's another thing. We've asked this on the pod. When does assisted replay kick in? And if it doesn't kick in on a play like that, the tush push play, when is it going to kick in? Because it's not going to overturn pass interference, but people have said it can't overturn whistles either. Well, that's bullshit because we watched a game 2 weeks ago where Scatabo was stopped short of a line as a touchdown play, and they said the whistle blew, but then assisted replay came in and said, you know what, it was a touchdown. So when is New York actually hitting the button down, or is it just some guy going, you know what, I'm not calling on this one? No one knows that, and that's the big when you don't know something, there's not that transparency. That's when you start to make the leaps in logic people are making with the NBA and everything else that's going on with the crooked officiating.
I mean, listen, 2 weeks ago in the SEC, or maybe it was even, I don't know, this week, an official had a particularly bad game. He is suspended permanently from officiating SEC games now.
Yeah, it was the Auburn game. Mike, it was the Auburn Georgia. It was the Auburn Georgia game. I was there.
He will never officiate another SEC game.
Nope.
Now, why don't we have that level of accountability at the pro level?
Yeah, make him go officiate the AFC South.
Yeah.
Relegate him to that.
You're on the AFC South until you prove
they'd still be working every week. There's an AFC South matchup every Sunday.
Just go officiate games that no one gives a crap about.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get it. And there's this officials grading system that we always hear about, but it's a bigger secret than Colonel Sanders' secret recipe, man. Nobody knows what this is and how it's scored and what the ramifications are if you don't score particularly high on it. I think it's just that, you didn't have a great year, you don't get to officiate a playoff game. Like, fuck off. This can't keep happening.
With as many playoff games as they have, every crew basically gets a playoff game. It's whether or not you get a game after the first round.
I think those reports got thrown out with the Wonderlic exam. Like, they're in a dumpster somewhere behind Met Death.
Am I dreaming this, or didn't they have heated discussions about making NFL officials full time instead of the part time stuff?
Yeah.
Did that ever get resolved? Like I said, Go ahead, Scott.
It never did. Most of these officials they have professional jobs. Like most of them are like insurance salesmen or they're business owners,
attorneys. Yeah.
But I will say this: I'm not sure. We've had the debate on this podcast before. I'm not sure full-time officiating would help. I mean, you're still playing. You're still watching the same game. I think getting younger officials might help, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure full-time officiating helps.
They'll be on their phones. You can't get young guys. Stop.
So I do have this stat to put out there because Cardone and I were cracking up because we watched the Buffalo Bills line up for a tush push, and sure enough, they were called for a penalty for an illegal formation.
Oh, yeah.
So the Eagles this year have actually been called for 2 penalties during the tush push. So I think they had an illegal snap on one of them, and they were called for an illegal. They were called for illegal motion on one of them. The rest of the league has been called for penalties 22 times
on the tush push.
On the tush push.
Really?
So I want you to think about that. We saw it with the Saints getting called for an illegal moving early. We saw the Steelers a couple weeks ago get called for moving early. Other teams trying to run that same play are getting officiated correctly. The Eagles, for some reason, are not. And we've discussed this before. I am firmly in belief, especially after this last game, that play is so successful for the Eagles, not because they do it better than everyone else. It's because they are allowed to do illegal things and get away with it. And you know what? I think part of it's because it's the tush push or the brotherly shove or whatever you want to call it. It's the Eagles play. So the league doesn't want anyone else to do it. They want the Eagles to do it.
I can't let my brain go that far to just a straight conspiracy. I can't, but it certainly seems that way, Scott. I mean, I think that's a huge part of the Eagles' success rate on it. I do think they run it spectacularly well, and I do think they have the perfect quarterback to do it. the strength of Jalen Hurts and his lower body strength and his, how you would think other quarterbacks would fumble more often. Now he can fumble; they'll just call it back. But I mean, it is impressive. And I will say this: even when the guards fire out early, it is so microscopically early that I don't know how you officiate it. I mean, they're just really good at it. But to John's point right at the beginning, it's just if we can't officiate it properly, it's got to go. It's got to go. You can't have a play out there that you can't officiate and you let one team do whatever they want. It's just you can't have it. And you guys know that is a 180-degree turn for me. I've always hated the play, but I'm like, man, they just do it better than everyone. So not just because. I mean, if the Giants did it like that and people wanted to outlaw it, I'd be pissed. But they can't get this right officiating wise. And if they can't officiate, not to mention their whole bullshit, constant talking about safety, it's the least safest play in all of football. I mean, there's no question about that. So, I mean, let's be done with it.
Why don't we steal a page? Yeah, why don't we steal a page from like Major League Baseball and go with the ridiculous rule where like, how you can only throw over to first base like twice now, while the guy is leading off of first. Well, how about like why don't we just say like, well, you can run the tush push. There's no way you could do it more than like 2 times in a row. You're allowed to do it 2 times in a row, and you're only allowed to do it like maybe 3 times an entire game. How about that? Why don't we just implement some pathetic, stupid rule like that? And I'm obviously being like sarcastic and not really just basically. I'm trying to steal it because all the rule changes in all these leagues to do, I'm kind of crossing over into Major League Baseball here, but just all this ridiculous stuff. Like, look what we're talking about here, guys. For the first 20 minutes of this pod tonight
too long.
is a 1-yard fucking like play where you push your quarterback's ass forward in an NFL game. That's what we're talking about. Think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just.
Too much.
I mean, we can get to the Giant defense and stuff like that. I'd like to actually.
Let's talk about the game instead of officiating at this point.
Yeah.
Enough.
I don't know if there's much to talk about with the game other than that because that dominated the game. I mean, the Giants defense, they gave up that run to Saquon right away in the beginning. That set the tone, but the Giants came back and tied that game at 7 before the tush push play happened. It's a frustrating game to talk about. I would say this. I'm still firmly in the camp that Bowen needs to go. That defense does not play. I think Dable needs to go.
Let up 276 yards rushing. How about stopping the run? I mean, come on, 276 yards. Get out of here. Tank Bigsby 100 yards.
Do you guys think, there's a lot of, I see things, reading articles, different things on the Giants defensive front. Do we think Sexy Dexy's got an injury somewhere? Do you think he's out of shape? Do you think I think he had that elbow thing right for
I think he's fat on his contract. That's what I think.
Well, I mean that's a theory. I don't see the same player that I saw last year.
I think it's kind of tough because we've seen Burns and Carter play pretty well. Sure. We've seen Thibodeau play better. I think that Dex is holding the middle pretty well. Our weakest links right now are at linebacker and defensive back. I mean, when Banks is in the game, he's a liability in both pass and run defense. Belton keeps taking terrible angles on the run defense. I think the biggest thing in this game is we were down both Debo and our safety Holland. So with those 2 guys out, that was killer for me. I had mentioned that to Cardone even before the game started. No one's really talking about these 2 guys, but you now replace them with Banks and Belton, and Belton, he can hit every now and then, but he takes terrible angles.
The problem for me with this front 4, particularly if we're going to talk about those guys, because they just disappear at certain parts of the game. I'm starting to think that they're a paper tiger to a big degree. I mean, I think they make plays, isolated plays here and there that I don't overall. But when you need them to really get a stop, and you're pleading and begging and for a 3rd down stop, you just don't get them. I think not enough of them. I know they've been better on third down defense this year. The stats will show that, but it just the eye test. And again, Novak just mentioned a couple stats. I had them written down here. I mean, the Barkley home run on the first run of the game, the second play of the game. That's just brutal. I know we came back to tie the game, and we know what happened after that. But Tank Bigsby running 9 carries, 104 yards. They had 276 yards rushing. Novak just mentioned that. Giants as a team had 246 total yards. Of course, 68 of those were wiped out on an OPI. But you see my point. I mean, the Giant defense to me is there's a lot of holes there, guys. I don't think that they get this. The narrative is that they are a formative, front four and they can disrupt games. And I don't think they certainly don't do it consistently. I'm starting now, and a lot of that's on Shane Bowen too. Shane Bowen's defensive game plan. I'm doing air quotes here for our viewers. It doesn't exist, man. He's definitely got to go. And I know we have 9 more games to talk about what this, the coaching staff, upheaval is going to be. But for right now, guys, I'm kind of sick and tired of thinking that the Giant defense is actually good because I don't think they are. They're not.
Well, we've lost games this year in which we scored 37 and 32 points.
Correct.
I mean, you can't have that. Not from a defense that's supposed to be what ours is. And, I don't – Bowen is definitely conservative. Rushing 4 in critical – or rushing 3, in critical moments against Dallas and then the Broncos certainly cost us 2 wins where, you think if you just hurry the quarterback on either of the opening plays of those drives, he's going to make a bad decision or he's going to get sacked or he's going to, or he's going to complete the ball to a dump off that is going to change the entire outcome of those 2 games. I mean, we've lost games where we had to lead with under a minute left. It's crazy. And I've not watched enough to make this statement for certain, but I know quarterbacks are getting the ball out very quickly against us because they're a little bit afraid of the pass rush. And I'm thinking back to Spencer Rattler, and I know that they coached him all week, just get it out. So my concern isn't really with the pass rush, although I agree with Cardone that it's disappeared in key moments. But I got to think we're weaker than we think we are behind that. Because, quarterbacks are getting the ball out quick and they're finding wide open receivers and not just receivers who are going out and doing, 3-yard hitches, receivers who are running full speed and catching the ball uncovered in stride and creating big plays against us. We still, for some reason, as fans, hey, guess what, Shane Bowen? When the down and distance is 2nd and 13, they might run a fucking screen pass. I think we should be ready for that. I mean, we're going back to, the 1970s football here. Just they're going to try to they're not going to try to pick up a 2nd and 17, Bowen. They're trying to get some yards.
2nd and 31.
Yeah.
2nd
and 31.
Couldn't wait to just bring that up right now.
You don't have to guard the sticks on 2nd and 31. Play defense.
Even if they were in a base defense, for crying out loud, that play doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond. It's beyond stupid. Some of the calls that I see. Seriously.
I've always thought of it as counterintuitive too. So when it's 2nd and 31, what you really should do is be aggressive because you're forcing them to get the ball out quickly to an outlet guy who's going to get 3 to 5 yards rather than, let them sit back and pick out the zone and pick out the open guy and things like that. And that's what Bowen's done time and again. It's happened at the end of the games when they've gotten field goals. It's happened at that 2nd and 31. Guys, bring pressure. Make the quarterback make a hot read. He takes a hot read. It's 8 yards on an out?
It's like we've got the worst of both worlds with this guy. Our pass rush is supposed to be our strength. So he calls it off in key situations. And
maddening.
right, Cardone? And
maddening.
then the other thing is okay, well, you know what? We won't give up any big plays though if Bowen's conservative. Well, guess what the fuck we do? We give up big plays all the time.
29 yards to Bo Nix.
Why are we getting burnt on both ends?
Exactly.
This guy's got to go.
The second and 31 play, what's great about that is, first of all, I don't know the NFL keeps stats on everything imaginable, right? So I want to know by the end of the year how many teams give up a first down on a second and 31 on a run. I want to know that by the end of the year. So I'm gonna have to research that. And then secondly, what's also like, I make these ridiculous and stupid observations. I got like that Larry David Seinfeld kind of like sent. I don't know about you guys, but about 5 yards into that play, you knew he was going to, like, it was like, oh, he's got 30 yards. Like, what other games do you watch where that happens? I watch a lot of NFL. I rarely see a guy with a fucking handoff and 5 yards, you're like, oh, this is going for 35 on a handoff. It's different with a screen pass and you get burned by the blitz, or a slant play and a guy makes a missed tackle or something. This was just a straight handoff and you're like, oh, this is going for 35. Why do we know that? It's 5 yards into that play, like, oh, first down.
Yeah.
By the way,
I had my head in my
interject.
hands at about 7 yards. It was over. You knew he was going to get it.
I have to interject here. They're doing the fastest 2 minutes in football right now, and Berman shows the Giants-Eagle highlights, and he calls Saquon Barkley going off tackle and says, and the Eagles blow out the Giants 38-20.
There it is.
Okay, well, they did blow us out
They
38-20.
18-point win in the NFL is a blowout.
But how do you get to that 18 points? That's that's the thing. No one. He didn't say there's controversy over the Tush Push. He just mentioned the.
He knew that was. He was
got 2
never going
minutes.
to mention that. No way.
The shill of ESPN. Give me a break.
Scott was mad on Sunday when they showed the score. Like, we're watching another game, the score comes across. It says Giants, or Eagles 38, Giants 20. He's like, look at Mike, they're showing the score. People are gonna think we got beat by 18. I'm like, we fucking got beat by 18. Scott.
You need to petition the league for an asterisk. Scott cost asterisk.
We're going to talk about this in around the league because we're going to give new meaning to the word sputtering. But
yeah.
but
That really set us off yesterday. Every week, it's something different mid-game that just sets us off, and we just pound that for the rest of the day.
We glommed onto that like you wouldn't.
Yeah, we
believe.
did.
So we'll leave our listeners in suspense on that in a little bit. So sputtering is it's a teaser here, but guys, let's get to the actual positive for the week. The Jets beat the Bengals. The Jets get a win. Now, I don't know if Novak's happy about this, or if he thinks it ruins a draft pick. I'm not sure if this is a good thing, but the Jets got a comeback win. They put everything together. Breece Hall was the man. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown because, in crucial situations, you have to take the ball out of Justin Fields' hands. Mm-hmm. And you can see with Novak's background, the one low light of the week, Nick Mangold, only 41 years old, is passed away.
Yeah, I really wanted this one for Mangold. I mean, when you really think about all-time Jets and what the true Jet fan, and there's still not many of us left, but the true Jet fan will think of Joe Klecko as the quintessential patron saint of the Jets, the one that we all want Jet players to be like. The offensive side of the ball of Joe Klecko was Nick Mangold. He was just always available, always playing as much as he could, tough, was the leader of that actual decent era of Jet football from 2006 to 2015, whenever he retired. We made the playoffs a few times in that time, got to 2 AFC championships, and was just apparently a great guy off the field. Everyone loved him. Everyone said he was a great teammate. And I remember the 2006 draft, the Jets drafted DeBrickashaw Ferguson with the 4th pick. And then they had another pick in the end of the first round, and they drafted Mangold. And I went ballistic. 2 offensive linemen, what are they doing, those fools? Of course, I was going crazy, and it turned out to be one of my all-time favorite Jets. I mean, he was just, and I was so glad they won this for him. And they played really well. I mean, Justin Fields was fine, but the one thing I will say, I wanted them to win, but let's just remember here, the Bengals defense sucks. It's almost as bad as the Cowboys. I mean, they are really bad. The Jets had guys like Tyler Johnson wide open all day long. Breece Hall was fantastic. The halfback option, great. I mean, I'm surprised they called that. I still don't think Aaron Glenn knows what the difference is between a 2-point conversion and an extra point, but he'll hopefully learn that over the course of time because he goes for a 2-point conversion on their own 25 and then doesn't on their own on the Bengals 30 and kicks a field goal. I don't know what it makes no sense what he's doing, but whatever. They get a win. I just hope that we don't get let's not get over ourselves over this. It was a win against a bad defense in a high intensity game because I think they wanted to win for Mangold, and yeah, I was pretty thrilled.
I tell you, I was happy for the Jets Nation, happy for you, Novak, because it doesn't matter, like meaningless, whatever you want to call it, like just to win an NFL game.
Yes.
When it just feels good for like you're not just miserable for an entire afternoon and most often into the entire week,
Correct.
But but out of that, yeah, I'm sure you've heard a few of these today. I couldn't believe I didn't look at the video clip. I didn't read it, but all I saw, first Rex Ryan made a great tribute to Mangold, and he got emotional and broke down on the set of, Get Up This Morning stuff, which was, I was feeling emotional about Mangold. Because first of all, the guy's 41 years old, young man, you know what I mean? Like, it's just awful.
It's just tragic.
And then, Rex goes on to say the NFL world owes Justin Fields an apology.
He said that?
Did you see this? Yes. No. Yes. Not only that, I think Peter Schrager said the same thing on the NFL Network. So now these fucking guys won't learn. One game, and Fields' numbers were still on the chart. They weren't off the chart. They were good. They were off the chart for Justin Fields' standards of good.
Oh, God.
Or being, and now the NFL, who? Me? Who owes them an apology, Rex? You?
Yeah,
I do? Who are you
one.
Talking to?
He
For
sucks.
what?
It was one game against a bad defense. And did you see this, Cardone? He said, they interviewed Justin Fields, and he said he was in his closet crying during the week. What?
Oh, God.
Nick Mangold just passed away.
I know.
He ever did that?
This isn't even my pet peeve, because I honestly didn't even see that until moments before we came on tonight. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, there it is. Like, somehow now we owe the NFL world owes an apology because this guy goes out and wins one game.
You don't hear anyone giving apologies to Russell Wilson for his performance against the Cowboys.
So,
because
by
we
the
know
way,
it's a terrible defense.
Just as a reminder to everyone, the Jets were down 31-16.
Yeah.
In this game, and then they scored. Breece Hall scored the rest of the touchdowns, right?
Yeah. And then
Breece Hall ran for 2 and threw 1.
And the biggest point of the game, they took the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
The better choice was the halfback option.
Yeah. So from the time they were down 31-16, it's Breece Hall 5-yard rush, Breece Hall 27-yard rush, and Mason Taylor 4-yard pass from Breece Hall. So yeah, I'm not apologizing to Justin Fields just yet. I'm gonna hold that back.
Now I'm fired up, Cardone. Thanks.
That doesn't even, like, Rex or whomever, any one of these yahoos, they don't even wait for 3-4 wins in a row. They do it after one win. Immediately, because what happens when he shits the bed the next game? Or it's amazing. The guy, okay, he has one decent game. He threw for 244 yards. Okay. All right.
You can't. You're not a starting NFL quarterback if you have one game where you play pretty well and 4 games where you can't get positive yardage. It is unbelievable. I can't believe they said that.
By the way, the Jets win a game. Coincidence that the official was Scott Novak? Anybody think that's weird? I think something's going on there.
So, looking around the league, we'll get to the thing we alluded to earlier with the sputtering. So the Bills rolled the Panthers on Sunday, and it's nearing halftime, and we see a little blurb come across the thing about halftime and what they're going to talk about at halftime. And they said, Bills sputtering? At the time, the Bills were winning 16-3 against a team, the Panthers, who were they're above 500. It's not like this is they're playing the Bengals, they're playing like the Titans. No, the Bills are not sputtering at 16-3. The Bills are beating a good team by 13 points en route to beating them by 27 or whatever it was.
31 to be exact. Yeah.
31.
Yeah. 40-9 was the final.
Absolutely bizarre. And Cardone and I immediately latch onto this. We're like, sputtering? What the fuck does sputtering mean?
I would love to be sputtering up by 13. Are you crazy? Sputtering. And we were just barking. Like, Scott and I were like, they're on the road. Like, Carolina's won like 3 straight games. Like, what should they be up by? How many points do you want them up by right now? Is 25 enough? Sputtering. Who's sputtering? Like,
sputtering.
They just sputtering. So
you know why they said that?
Why did they say
this
it?
Week. They got the Chiefs this week.
Oh, God. There you go.
I think the real reason they said it was because the Bills opened up and ended their first 2 drives with field goals. And we all know in the NFL, and we all know the coverage of the NFL, they shouldn't have even kicked those. They should have gone for it. And so, we all know, of course, because the NFL media tells us, you can't win by kicking field goals. So even though they took a 6-point lead, they might as well have been losing because they were only kicking field goals. So that's probably where the sputtering came from.
To your point, Mike, I'm looking at the drive chart right now. So their first 5 possessions, the Buffalo had the ball. This is awesome. I didn't even realize Buffalo had the ball 5 times in the entire first half, because it's the NFL, the running clock. We talk about this every week. Only had 5 possessions. Their possessions: field goal, touchdown, punt, touchdown. Sputtering. They scored on 4 to 5 drives. They had 19 points. I mean, knock it off.
That was awesome.
So, and once again, we saw the Colts, best record in the league. They rolled, and I look at the Colts. I really can't see any other good teams there, but the rest of the league to me is schizophrenic. I mean, they're all up and down. I see, every week we talk about Daniel Jones and the Colts. Now the Colts want to sign Daniel Jones to a long-term contract, which Sport Track is saying that his contract should be worth like 5 years, $160 million, and the Giants are taking shit for signing them to $40 million contract. So be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jonathan Taylor is having a hell of a year, man. I mean, my goodness, he is a good running back. And, it does help when you have a really nice offensive line to kind of open up those holes and then protect Mr. Jones. So, kudos to Daniel. I mean, he's having a hell of a year. Good for him. I'm glad he's gone. I mean, I am glad that he's not playing for the Giants. That's all I'm going to say.
He couldn't have done that here.
No way.
Every game that he plays as well as he does, you can't tell me it's not a massive knock on Dable.
Oh, I think it's a huge knock on Dable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, he's just got to be looking at that scoreboard going, are you effing kidding me again?
I think it's great we have Dart because, we're excited about Dart. And I think it's great that Daniel Jones landed in a place where he can show his talents and do as well as he has been doing. Because I think that, but to Novak's point, he's been saying it all year, this is 100% on Dable. Dable did not get what he could have out of Daniel Jones, whether it was the offensive line here or whatever it is.
See, this is what Jones is doing in Indianapolis is in my opinion, at least twice as amazing what Barkley did last year with Philly. Because
100%.
Barkley, I mean, we know how good, Barkley's a natural talent. The whole league, we knew that. You put this guy behind any, mediocre offensive line, and Barkley's going to run wild. What we didn't see or could predict was what Jones is doing. But we had said, I think on this pod, it's safe to say, like we said all along, we don't even know how good Jones is or if he's good because of that pathetic and brutal offensive line. And so what Jones is doing, his production, outshines even Barkley's last year by a mile, because that week we knew, we saw flashes of Barkley, running wild even in New York. Jones, you just couldn't see any of it. So the numbers he's putting up there, guys. By the way, Indianapolis is putting up historic numbers. I don't know if you've seen some of the stats and stuff, like not just the point differential and that. I saw something today. I don't know if I shared it with you guys. Maybe I don't know if I got around to it. I don't have it off the top of my head, guys, but just those kinds of stats like they do in the NBA, like points per possession, points per minute, that kind of stuff. They're setting like NFL records right now, historical records. Now, chances are it's probably not going to sustain all that for the rest of the year, but through 8 games, the Indianapolis Colts are like they're more efficient than like the fucking '07 Patriots right now, or like on par with them, and the 2013 Broncos. That's the kind of offense that Indianapolis is right now. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know, this is the one that I love the best, Cardone. What do you guys think their percentage of scoring a touchdown on and goal is?
I don't know if I
inside the
saw
10,
that one.
first and goal,
So-
second and goal. What percentage were they getting touchdowns?
On first and second and goal,
Inside the 10. So first and goal, second and goal, like
82%,
100.
100.
They are perfect and goal this year in that spot.
Wait a minute. So anything goal to go, they've scored?
Sorry, that's the right term. Goal to go. Anything
to go.
goal to go, they have scored a touchdown every time.
Anytime they've gotten inside the 10.
Yes.
So even if they were pushed back with a penalty or a tackle for loss,
That's the stat I heard today.
second and goal from the 14, they're scoring.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, I don't know if this will count. I'd like to get a take on this. So I'm watching the Chiefs game, and the Chiefs had a holding penalty, an offensive holding penalty, on a 3rd down at the goal line. However, it was offset by a defensive holding penalty on the same play.
All right, just replay the down. Yeah.
So they replayed the down, and the Chiefs
Touchdown.
on 4th down get a touchdown.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course they did. Not a problem.
Of course.
Yeah. They got to set up the Bill game next week.
So, but I want to know,
cares?
does that go as a penalty against the Chiefs, or does that not? Because they offset.
That's a no play.
No play.
Joke.
Never happened.
Can I make
Yeah,
one
Jones
quick comment
Yeah,
about
go ahead,
around the
Scott.
league? I didn't want to get off topic if you're trying to talk about Jones, but
I'll just say he has 13 touchdowns right now. How many 8 games in. Outside of his first year, the most he ever had for the Giants in a season was 15.
Wow.
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make this comment. Did anyone see who played cornerback for the Cowboys this week? That they elevated from the practice squad. The greatest name of all time.
Kuntz?
Nope. Devoyne
Rusty.
Shower Handle.
No.
Shower
Come on.
handle?
What?
Swear to God. Devoyne Shower Handle.
Oh my gosh.
True story.
That
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up. That's awesome.
Now it's spelled differently. It's Handel, but it's
Sure.
Devoyne Shower Handle.
That's outstanding.
Yep. I wanted to make sure I got that one in.
You guys got anything else around the league?
Remarkably, no.
All right, let's go to the predictions and in our previews.
Sorry, that's my cue, isn't it? All right, so here we go. We have. I'm going to bring this up on the screen so that we can see it because the Jets are on a bye this week, so we're going to do something a little bit different with our prediction. We're going to pick the Giants game, then we're going to pick our immortal lock, and then we're going to pick an upset. So you have to pick a team to upset another team.
Uh-oh.
And the line has to be at least 2.5. So they have to be at least a 2.5 point underdog. And if you lose that, you don't lose any points. If you win it, you get 2. All right.
So they have to just. All right. So they got to cover the spread.
They don't have to cover. We're just
No, they
using
don't have
the
to cover.
spread to determine who the underdog is.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Well, obviously, if they win outright, they're covering because they're dogs.
Correct. Yep.
What are the
yeah.
standings, Mike?
Yeah, I'll give you the standings. So we all went 3-1 last week. We all correctly guessed the Philly to win. We all missed the Jets winning. And then we all hit our lock. So Cardone, Mike, and Cost had Indy, and Novak had the Pats. So we all went 3-1. So the standings didn't move, but as a reminder, they are. Cardone is 26-6. Mike and Cost are tied at 24-8, and Novak is 1 game back at 23-9. So,
Real quick,
Cardone goes
real
first.
quick, I may have been punked about Devoyne shower handle on that one. I just sent you guys a picture from Cowboys old school Facebook thing. So that might have been wrong.
You might have been punked.
Because the other guy was Disquarius Green. So that might have been a punk. So sorry about
that. It's almost as bad as me calling Marv Levy dead, who's still very much alive.
Oh, right. Yeah, you buried Levy.
Coons is a Cowboy fan. He sent that to me, so I'm going to give him shit for that.
All right, so I got to get this thing started.
Cardone,
okay,
you are up. Yep, and I've got I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sharing the.
I got it,
lines.
Mike, but I have it on my screen here as well. So I'm kind of scrolling through right now. So let me get back to that. I'll go with so we only have the Giants and Niners game to pick. So I'll start with that. This, as much as I want to pick the big blue here, I have a feeling we're back to our Met Death ways. This game is at Met Death. San Francisco, they somehow find ways to win. I don't even know the last time we've beaten the Niners. We seem to always lose to this team. Nick Mullins seems to always be quarterbacking the Niners when we play them. I'm predicting a loss here. I think the Giants are mentally shot with this with the latest victimized. We are a cursed franchise at this point with Scatterbo, the latest victim of this Giants curse now that lives over us and hangs over us. Give me the Niners at Met Death, 25-19. Kind of a weird score there. My lock of the week this is a division game I went with. I have not picked this team yet. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit's coming off a bye. I think the Vikings are back to throwing J.J. McCarthy out there next week, I believe. Going with the Lions. I went back and looked at my picks, Mike. I don't think I have picked the Lions yet.
No, I have. The Lions are in play.
Yeah,
we all reset a couple weeks ago, so there's not many teams off the
Right.
board.
So, All right. So I got the Niners over the Giants. I got Detroit. And then my first quick scan of the board here, I think I may go it looks like this game I'm looking at the Chicago-Cincy game. On my screen, I'm looking at ESPN. I see Chicago is favored by 2.5 on the road at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Give me Flacco and the Bengals in that one.
Upset is Bengals over Bears. You got it. All right, my turn. All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think the Giants bounce back. I think the Giants play a good game at home, undefeated in Met Death, by the way, like 2-0 or whatever we are, because it's week 8. We've only played 2 home games, so naturally. So I'm gonna take the Giants to win this game. We are scoring over 20 points a game with Dart. That doesn't seem to matter who the defense is, unless you're the New Orleans Saints for some reason. So I'm gonna continue Dart playing well like he has been and finding a way to score some points, which is a godsend for this team. And I think the Giants are going to win this 28-24. So I am picking the Giants, which is rare. Do something different. On my lock, I agree with Cardone on the lock. I'm just going to take one more quick glance at these just to see a team I haven't picked. I'm gonna go with the Lions. Sorry for the delay there as well. And then my upset is going to be I had this picked out and then I lost it. So this is it's only 1.5. Damn it! I thought I had. I'm gonna take the Washington Commanders at home to hang on and beat Seattle.
All right.
That's a good one. I didn't see that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think Jaden Daniels will be back for that one. I hope so.
So for me, I'm on the Mike train here. So the 49ers complex me. They are a team that they don't have an identity right now. I don't even know if Purdy's going to be the quarterback. Mac Jones, I'm not really sure what they're doing. They just lost to the Houston Texans, who had god awful uniforms and a logo that Cardone and I kept like looking at the field, going, "What the hell is this thing over here?" I'm going with the Giants in this game, similar to Mike's score, 27-21 Giants. I think we score points. I think Scatabo has been an amazing player for us, but don't sleep on Tyrone Tracy.
Don't forget about that guy.
Is very good.
He was a good running back before he got hurt. Very good.
And my upset pick, and I'm taking the Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
I think the Raiders are.
Make sure they're in play. Yep, 3.5. So you're taking the Raiders
over the Jaguars.
Over the Jags.
Home. And then my lock, and this guy is back in the fold, and I'm pretty sure that the league wants this team to be relevant here. Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. Let me see what are you laying for that one? Oh,
Baltimore's playing the Dolphins in Miami.
Baltimore is a favorite, though. That's your lock.
Lamar's
you did it
playing
in a different order.
I think they already said Lamar's coming back.
I thought that you were saying that was your upset. I was going to say that is not an upset, Scott.
No. My upset is the Raiders. My lock is Baltimore.
All right, let's go Novak.
All right, I have to redeem myself after getting punked by Des Moines shower handle. I've got so for the Giant game, I too like the Giants here. I think you're like Mike had said this, I think last week, you're going to see ups and downs with this Giant team and Dart and everything else. I think the back's against the wall. Everyone's against them. They only have one more win than the Jets, and I think they say a favorite Cardone phrase here. They rise up and they win this game 21-20 over the 49ers. My lock, I agree with Scott. Lamar Jackson will begin his crusade to be NFL MVP again starting Thursday. And the NFL is going to start, that Thursday night crew is going to be like slobbering all over him the whole game. God. So I like them as the lock over the hapless Dolphins, which is there anyone more gross than the Falcons at this point. And then my upset, I think the Indiana Jones thing stops, and I think the Steelers actually get a win at home against the Indianapolis Colts.
All right, and then our guest picker, John.
I'll tell you what. I'll pick the Giant game. I'll leave the upsets and the others to you guys since you have your running record going. But as far as the Giant game goes, I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn here for a second. My gut tells me that the Giants rise up and beat the Niners. Brock Purdy plays, all bets are off, in my opinion, because I think he'll torch our secondary, regardless of who's out playing wide receiver. But for my money, I like the Giants winning this 24-20. And I think Theo actually makes a catch this time, or at least goes back to semi-reliable hands that he should have, that I'm hoping for. But yeah, I like the Giants 24-20 here.
That's a big play that we didn't mention at all during this podcast. That drop by Theo on an absolute dime by Dart.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is, and without dredging up on that entire game again, there is some things to look forward to, and I'm for the first time in a while, it's actually I'm excited to watch the game just to see the development of Ben Scatterbo and of course Dart. So
yeah, I mean that's what it is. I heard them talking about the play to Slayton, and they kind of never mind that it's a penalty. I just want you to see what Jackson Dart went through here, and apparently that was a disguised coverage. So Dart should not have thrown the ball to Slayton, but Dart recognized that the disguise and threw it there anyway and caught the safeties flat-footed. So in other words, they were trying to fool the rookie. He saw right through it and threw the ball to the exact right place. And when I hear, breakdowns and things like that, that gets me awful excited.
Yeah. All good.
All right, let's go to Pet Peeves, and I'll start with our guest, John.
Pet Peeves.
Mike, if you could unshare the screen. We'll get back
Sorry,
to the.
guys. Yep.
Oh, that's all right.
I guess one of my pet peeves is the fact that during games, the broadcasters, when they're no one is in on the joke that they're running between themselves, like either whoever Brady's with, and then Aikman and whoever he's with, or Joe Buck. They always have like kind of an inside joke that they'll bring up that the whole entire audience is supposed to know exactly what it is, and it just pisses me off. I mean, there's an actual live audience here that you're actually broadcasting to. No one knows your fucking inside jokes. They don't. No one knows what you're talking about. Whether you're, grabbing ass in the showers before, no one knows any of that stuff. So just stick to what you know and call the game. There's my
Call the
tip.
game. We don't know what the hell you're saying.
That's great, because I did hear one of those a couple weeks ago where the announcer was like, "Well, and my partner here didn't pick up the check at dinner last night." And like, well,
who cares? Who cares?
John, the only guy I'll allow that is back being a Yankee fan and growing up with listening to Phil Rizzuto and Bill White call games on WPIX up there in New York. Like Rizzuto would go off on a tangent and it would always end with, "Oh, that Huckleberry, Johnson or something." Like for some reason it worked with Rizzuto, but to your point, it's nauseating with these guys when they start talking about their own personal private inside jokes. It's insufferable, man.
Unless it's a podcast and they talk about Bengals starters,
Yeah, that's true.
Good stuff.
So I'll go next. My pet peeve, and this was brought to the limelight this week with the NBA scandal that's coming out. But Mike's been on the pulse here basically from the get-go, and where gambling, sports, and entertainment intersect, there's a ridiculous amount of opportunities to make a lot of money quickly. And it doesn't have to be anything egregious like we talk about with a widespread conspiracy, but it could be a player with these now over-under bets that people are having. You could have a player just sort of like not catch a couple balls, or maybe he catches a few and he does better than he thought he would. But you have a lot of opportunity for people to step in now and either create money for themselves in one game that's maybe not that big of a game, and it works more in a sport like baseball or basketball where you have an insane amount of games during the season. But I could see something like this happen in football, and I know football talks about cracking down on things, but I thought it was funny. We were watching ESPN as they were talking about the NBA scandal, and literally in the bottom corner of the ESPN screen was an advertisement for betting.
Yeah.
And they're covering a betting scandal while they're telling you to go to ESPN Bet and place a bet. And we see this where, everything's brought to you by DraftKings, brought to you by FanDuel. And we've gotten to this point now where there's so much blurring of the lines that sports now it's not necessarily sports and competition. A lot of times it's entertainment. And it's entertainment for people to bet on things, whether it's fantasy football or whatever. And guys, I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with the NBA. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more of this kind of thing happening in the next couple of years. And you're going to see a lot of sweeping under the rug. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, yeah.
Like a guy like Chauncey Billups, a Hall of Famer, now has his name tarnished. And some of these allegations are ludicrous. Like they're talking about rigging poker games where the mafia is involved. Yeah.
Antonio Gates now, same thing.
Yeah.
You apparently were wearing special contact lenses that could tell you what the cards were. X-ray tables, like just wild stuff that would be like in the Ocean's Shack or something.
James Bond.
They got the glasses. What do they have? The fucking eye patch, like number 2 from Austin
number
Powers, right? I mean,
who does
17.
number 2
He's
work
like,
for?
Hit me. You have 17, sir. I like to live dangerously, right? I mean, that's
what's Austin Powers gets like at 11 and he goes, "I'll stay."
I'll stay.
I also
suggest
like the
you
live
hit,
date.
sir. Yeah.
Well, Scott, I might offer to go next only because mine is exactly yours too. So if you wouldn't mind.
No, go right ahead.
Because since we're already in the discussion. So mine, as you know, a few months back in March, I basically said on this podcast that I think the NBA is corrupt and that I believe that it is. And you know how I think the draft was fixed. Here's what I want to know, and here's what my pet peeve is and why I was so angry about this thing. The NBA did an internal investigation on Terry Rozier, and they did an investigation and found no wrongdoing. However, he had some fake injury and didn't play the rest of the year during the investigation.
Mhm.
Now, all of a sudden, the FBI gets involved and they say, he is guilty of this. He's been arrested. Why are we not investigating the NBA here? Don't they have
Why
some
not?
culpability in all of this? Someone has got to investigate this league because it is corrupt. All of this, you're telling me this is the only, like you just basically alluded to, Rozier and Billups are the only ones doing this stuff? No way, man. No way. This is widespread. It is. I agree it's a tip of the iceberg, but investigate it from the top. And the NBA needs to be investigated in my mind. There's no way he should have been cleared. We all saw it.
And I still have to bring this up because it's one of the greatest calls we've had on this podcast. As soon as that trade happened with the Lakers and the Mavericks, Novak said, "You watch, the NBA is going to award the Mavericks the number one pick as a favor for this," and it happened. It sure enough happened just like that.
0.6% chance to win the lottery.
Novak correctly called something that had apparently had a 0.6% chance of happening. He correctly called it months in advance.
It's corrupt. I'm telling you. And so they better investigate
awesome call,
them.
Man. It is.
The other quick one.
Go ahead, Scott. My bad.
No, the other quick pet peeve, I just have to say it real fast. Stop it with National Tight End Day. It drove me fucking crazy.
Oh.
Every time someone catches a pass, they got to say, on National Tight End Day, Dallas Goedert gets another touchdown. Like, stop. Just drives me crazy. It's the whole. You guys were at a bar, you couldn't hear it. It was every game, every time a tight end did anything.
I'll continue that going with mine because mine kind of rolls right into that. Not National Tight End Day, but so I'm going to talk about it and the NBA betting scandal and how it applies to football, in my opinion. So, first of all, the first thing you have to realize is all this is coming down, all this is coming out. Who's surprised? Has anyone said, I'm shocked at these allegations?
Nope.
Like,
No.
No. People have been saying the NBA specifically is rigged for years. And we talk about the difference between that and football. We all bitch about officiating. We all bitch about announcers. But we said over and over and over, we don't think these games are rigged. Nobody here is saying that. Just so, because we've had some listeners comment on YouTube videos and stuff that, we're conspiracy theorists or whatever. That's not what we're saying. Not in the NFL at all. However, now I'm going to go now I'm going to twist it and become a conspiracy theorist. Everyone agrees that, my dad bitched about officials in the 70s, right? But I think we get a pretty clear consensus that over the last 5 years, the officiating has taken a nosedive, a hard nosedive in the NFL. And a lot of that is because they're asking these guys to make these really impossible judgment calls on penalties, which they should just get rid of. And I understand that. I also don't think it's a coincidence that was 4 or 5 years ago that all of a sudden the NBA opens its doors to betting and becomes a partner in the betting world. And then the officiating suddenly takes a crash simultaneously with that happening. There's no coincidences in this world, in my opinion. So I'm still not saying games are rigged. I'm just saying that if there's a lot of money on a certain line at a certain time and a team looks like they might be making a comeback and you could call illegal contact on a converted 3rd and 15. Yeah. All right. Illegal contact. I'll pick up my check later. And who knows, it might even be simpler than that, but something's happening. If people are naive enough to think that this could only penetrate the NBA, they're super naive.
100% agree, Mike.
Yep. Just it's happening. It's going on at some level.
with all of these 3 million bets that you can make, and I don't bet, I don't do any of that, but I've heard, and people are telling me these prop bets, you're come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't even have to rig a game to make somebody rich off it. You can just make sure a score goes over, make sure it goes under. As an official, that's a pretty easy thing to do.
Absolutely.
You can call a game tight as hell and turn what might have been a 28-30 game into a 14-17 game pretty easily.
Yeah.
No one would even notice.
Cardone, pet peeve?
I believe it or not, I didn't even have like a true pet peeve after yesterday's game. Other than we kind of touched on it. You guys know how I feel about Darius Slayton, right? I've buried this guy for a couple of years now on our pod. He's the fourth best wide receiver on anybody's team, and he's like our number 1 guy, right? But he finally makes a play. We've already talked about this particular play, but where I'm going to take it just one little step further. The guy finally makes a play, gets behind the defense, and scores a 68-yard touchdown, which I never thought I would see happen, right? And true to form, we've already talked about this, but what really the peeve I'm going to bring up is very simple. It's very succinct, very short. It's like that call. You'd show me where a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, a CeeDee Lamb, even like AJ Brown is getting that fucking OPI called on them in that situation. On that, I put any one of those guys I just listed. You can name a few others. There's several others, and that's Slayton on that particular play. Who in their right mind is seeing a flag thrown on that play? That is what drives me insane, is that somehow the officials like, it's Darius Slayton, fuck this. He's not, like, the guy makes one play his career, and it has to just get wiped away. It's incredible.
You don't even have to look at other teams, Cardone. Neighbors doesn't get that called against.
Neighbors doesn't get that call. He doesn't. Yeah. The Stars, right? Again, it's the whole theme, and again, we just beat this down, but when you think about it in the context of that, and all the egregious calls and non-calls that we talk about, and it's not just us, it's around the league, it's an epidemic, is that officials are deciding, they know exactly who's running that. And Mike, I think we were saying it during the game, like, when I would love to go back on the camera, give me a wide angle camera, when was that flag dropped? After he made the catch? And I mean, obviously it probably was, but like, when exactly? I mean, it's after the catch. How far down the field was he already when that flag comes out? Guys, it's bullshit. I can't take it, because the Stars. Darius Slayton certainly is not a star in this league. He's no other. Justin Jefferson's not getting that called on him. It's just, it just pisses me off.
Well, Cardone, two points on that. One, any receiver Patrick Mahomes is throwing to won't get that call.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yes.
The second thing is, let's be fair to the referees. They didn't really actually think Darius was going to make the catch before the flag.
They didn't see a need to throw the flag. Then they're like, shit, he caught it.
Yeah, exactly. Whoops.
Yeah. Holy shit, wait a minute. Where's the safety? He actually got behind a man and there's no safety? Like, no, we're not allowing this. Not going to allow it.
The craziest part about that play is when the defender is beaten, he not only grabs Slayton's jersey, but he pulls it so that it's visible to see a stretching of the jersey, which, what do announcers always say? That is 100% called a penalty.
Oh, they're going to call that every time.
They're going to call that every time. And when that flag comes out, I mean, you're still thinking it's DPI. It's just, they're picking, flag, decline the penalty, touchdown, Giants. And Dable loses his freaking mind over that. He slams the headset down. And you can't, I don't see any evidence of Slayton pushing off. There's no extended arm. I don't know what they saw to call that. And yet you have no recourse on that penalty. You have nothing that can change the course of that penalty.
So the person
who threw that flag, he doesn't have to answer to anyone for that.
I looked at that a few different times when I went back and watched. And what they saw in that play, the reason that they called it, was the defender had Slayton by the wrist. So he had one hand, he had him pulling his jersey. The other one, he's holding him by the wrist. And Slayton is running full speed and tugging his arm to try to get it free of the wrist. He finally does, and when he does, he extends his arm again to kind of slap at the guy's hand so he doesn't grab it again. That's what the call was. And it's horse shit.
But how do you not go back and call? Why was there not a defensive hold or pass interference when the jersey stretched? How do you overlook that, but you call Slayton? There were the number of calls in that game that were inexplicable. It sort of ties back to what we were talking about with the NBA and things like that. There's a lot of calls that were made there that I don't think the officials have any explanation for.
No.
Maybe he was just trying to wipe his hands, and they just thought it was just a favor. I don't know.
So we got some questions today. Peacock Corner, he's getting a little spicy with this one, but who would win a foot race right now between Scadabo and Neighbors?
That's pretty good.
Well, I gotta tell you this: with Scadabo's one foot facing the opposite direction, he might be going one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Well, isn't Scatterbo going to be in one of those wheelie things for a while? He'd probably win. Neighbors probably still on crutches at this point, right?
Neighbors has not had surgery yet to replace
I heard that.
Yeah, he's
Swelling.
not yet had surgery to repair the ACL.
Yeah.
If he's not out there week one, then we'll remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Peacock, I can't take that as a serious question. You're not going to get an answer from me on that one. That's just awful. Awful.
You know what? I gotta say it's Neighbors only because with Scadaboo's his foot going in one direction, he would probably be just doing a pirouette like
we were at the bar and really couldn't see that well. But we knew right away something was wrong because Dart's looking away, going, "Oh my fucking God!" And you got another Giants lineman burying his head in his hands, and Scadabo hitting his helmet as soon as it happened. So, never really saw it until later that the foot was literally going the opposite direction.
That was a tough one to look at. I mean, that was rough.
I don't know about you guys. I cannot watch those and look at those. I'd rather see. I can look at a guy land on his head.
Yeah.
I cannot handle the broken legs and ankles and stuff. I just can't. I can't do it.
No. I was easier to watch DeMar Hamlin's hit, and he almost died. But in a way, because it's just like a normal hit, right? It was just, oof, man, that was rough.
Ugly.
So Peacock also asks, who's the worst owner, Johnson or the Maras, and why?
Dude, that isn't even a freaking question. Stop it. Come on. We've got a guy with Woody and Johnson. Just that alone is bad. Come on. It's not even. That doesn't deserve an answer. You guys have won Super Bowls. You're one of the original groups. This guy knows. Stop. Just stop it. Don't answer it. Go on to the next one. I'm annoyed already.
So Peacock also asks, if you're going to trade one guy to upgrade the team, who are we trading? I don't know if this is an upgrade of the team other than it's an addition by subtraction. I'm trading Jalen Hyatt tomorrow if I can get a ham sandwich for him.
Good luck getting anything for him.
I would take a conditional 7th rounder in 2028.
Give us a bag of kicking balls. You can have them.
I take a medium Pepsi for
I'll
Hyatt.
trade Justin Fields for Devoyne shower handle right now.
Devoyne shower handle.
I love that you were punked on Devoyne shower handle.
Yeah, me too. Great. That's why I got to own it now, and I got to keep using it.
So good.
You guys got anyone else you're wanting to trade, or that it?
I don't know. I'm trying to think who. It's obviously got to be some kind of value there.
Can you ask the question again, Scott?
So it's basically trading one guy to upgrade this team. Who are we trading?
It's Jameis Winston, right? Or Russell Wilson. I mean, that's who.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
They're the only people with value right now.
I mean, would you guys, and this is a question I would have, would you trade Thibodeau? Only because, that position gets back very high draft choices. And you've already put a lot of money in that defense. You could get a nice draft pick out of that. Would you do it?
Week 1, I would have done it. I don't think I'd do it now. He's been amazing.
Thibodeau is playing. He might be playing as well as.
But
any
isn't
of the
he in the
defenders.
end of his contract though, right now?
His rookie contract will come to an end this year, I believe.
That's why I would say, would you do it then?
That's kind of where I was going. I was thinking maybe like a Bobby Okereke. I don't know, like someone like an Okereke who, again, one of these guys. I think we elevate his value and worth. Like he disappears at times too. I don't like. Could I see? Again, what are we getting in return? Don't know, but I'd be okay with like an Okereke being traded, shipped off somewhere. Sure, I would. I'm just using him. Like he just came to my mind. I don't know. Like not that I've been thinking about that, but just the question. He came to my head, being like, I could see that. I could see like an Okereke, something like that, someone like that.
Do you guys think, at least from an athletic standpoint, and where he was drafted, that Deonte Banks would have any value to some team as a reclamation project?
I worry if he has any value. I mean, Banks, I think, is a head case right now and a weak link on that team. But he probably would return a 6th-round pick, maybe.
Yeah, I don't see any value there.
I think the question, to see, if someone wanted to rehab him or just see the athlete in him.
Yeah, take a flyer on him, maybe.
Try to give him a Daniel Jones fresh start.
Yep.
For the Jets, I might trade Quinnen Williams. And the only reason I say that, he's a massive hit on the salary cap. I know we could get something good back for him because that's a premium position. And we need to start getting picks back because we gave them all away for Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers and all these clowns that we had to bring in. So I would do that because that'd probably get you a 2nd-round pick, which would be worth it, and then get the cap number off.
So my friend Mike asks a couple questions, and I think we're going to be pretty unanimous on half of this one. So he asks, what do we think about the combo of Belichick as a GM and Tomlin as a head coach? I'm all on board for Tomlin as a head coach. Belichick just needs to get out of the game, period.
I can't disagree with that, Scott. Yep.
100%.
Same.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's a circus at this point.
Yeah. Belichick, his best days are obviously behind him. Tomlin, guy's a winner. He's a winner.
I mean, his football best days are behind him, but apparently he's doing fine otherwise.
Yeah.
Steeler fans are wanting to fire Tomlin, which I think is just crazy and bizarre.
Are they still wanting that? They still going there?
I think they were doing it this week because they just got beat by the Packers again. People are,
The revenge game, the Dick revenge game, that one.
The Steeler fans are beyond spoiled.
By the way, I do have a quick comment about that game because I don't know if you guys how much you watched that game at all, Steelers Packers last night, but so the game's in Pittsburgh, right? And they at various times, commercial break, they're going to you're looking at the crowd. So there's a guy waving a Dick Green Bay jersey. So you got the Aaron Rodgers number 12 Green Bay, but so I'm thinking like, well, who the fuck are you rooting for? Like you're holding up, like he plays for now your Steelers. You're at a Steeler home game, so I'm assuming you're a Steeler fan. I don't know what the guy was actually wearing. He's holding up a Rodgers Packer jersey. Who are you actually pulling for in the game?
That's a good question.
Right?
Yeah. No clue.
I was like who? I don't know. I can't. There's just moronic fans out there, and the camera captures them all the time. Face painters, fucking wear like it's every night's fucking Halloween with what these people wear to games. Oh, look at this passionate fan. Passionate fan, my ass. The 5 of us right here are passionate fans, asshole. Not these jackoffs that wear fucking. They just walk out of Party City and then went to a football game.
Still got the Los Angeles Chargers lady who was. They still show her every once in a while.
I support the team.
So
you know what? I hate those masks that with like the scowling face masks.
Yeah,
he never got. But those guys always make it on TV.
You know what I don't get either? There's two things. The oversized helmet that people wear as a hat,
Yeah.
and these gigantic chains with like the team logo on it. I don't get either of them. Maybe it's a 6'7" type of thing where I just out of touch, but it's like 6'7".
We talk about the hideous uniforms the Steelers were wearing last week, by the way.
Jesus.
God, that was so bad.
They trot that out every once in a while, just like the Jets do. Like no one in the 1930s probably liked those jerseys back then. In black and white, you couldn't even tell what the fuck they looked like. Who wants those back?
It looked so stupid.
Awful.
My wife watched the game and she's like, "What are they wearing? This looks so dumb." Yeah. And I was like, "Yes, they look like potato sacks out there. It's ridiculous."
Cardone mentioned it early too. Houston's uniforms, they look like they were designed by an 8-year-old. I mean,
like something.
I don't want to sound too fashion forward, but you don't mix blue and black. It's not a thing.
I love to hate the stuff I love. There it is. It's all part of it.
Absolutely.
So Mike also asks, the Jets win. Is this a springboard now to future wins, or is this just a blip on the screen?
No, I'm actually fearful that he'll continue to play well and they'll think we've got our guy. So no, I don't want them to lose. I'm not saying that at all. And I loved having this win. I do not believe it's a springboard. I think they'll compete. I think, Scott, you've got a slight chance to get the over-under on the Jets wins because their remaining schedule is not that difficult. They've got the Browns, and not that the Jets are any good. I'm not saying that, but they're winnable games that they've got coming up. The Dolphins, the Browns, like there's a bunch of the Raiders, I think, are in there, the Saints. Like it could still happen.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, if last year didn't prove anything to anybody, you can't do the tank thing. And I don't think anyone actually does. But, I mean, we're wringing our hands last year when the Giants beat the Colts. My God, if the Colts had beaten us.
Oh, yeah, you would have had Cam Ward.
We would have had Cam Ward.
Yeah, that's true.
We wouldn't have had Abdul Carter or Jackson Dart.
That's true. I mean, really good point.
You just got to play to win them because you don't know.
That is you got to remember that because that is very, very true.
Yep.
Wow.
I'd like to so if I could rephrase our listener's question there, who sent it in? Mike sent that in?
Yeah.
Like that. So the rephrase of that, the AI version would be, so Novak, how many more apologies are we going to owe Justin Fields this year the rest of the way? For every win, we're going to owe him an apology, I guess. So how many more apologies will we have to do? Will we owe Mr. Fields?
Yeah. By the way, to the same announcers in that booth who are saying that we owe an apology to Justin Fields, have they apologized to Daniel Jones yet? Because
that's another good one. Mike is on fire.
I've heard that Live Studio called Daniel Jones garbage on the air on that network. So
yeah. I think that was one of our pet peeves a few weeks ago. None of these guys are apologizing ever. No. They'll never admit what they've said in the past. They're just going to roll with what they tell them to say.
They're going to blame it on us.
Yeah.
You guys all thought Justin Fields was a good quarterback. What were you thinking?
Right.
He said that. You said that.
So Mike also asks what the Giants' priority should be in the offseason, linebacker or D-back. And as linebackers, we got a ton of hybrid linebackers on the roster right now. They double as edge rushers or whatever. I'm going defensive backs. Everyone needs secondary people because we saw what happened this week when Adebo was out and Holland was out. You need depth there.
I agree with you 100%, Scott, as far as defensive backs goes. But
Mike's going OL, by the way.
Yeah. However, I'll take both lines all day long. Someone to play next to Sexy Dexy and continue to build the O line. So that would be my choice. You can hide a lot of things with a defensive front and a pass rush and stopping the run, right? Defensive backs, while I think they're super important, I think, the Giants in the past, if you remember correctly, they used to hide a lot of things with their pass rush. They didn't have the best defensive backfield, but they got to the quarterback and they were able to stop the run. Those are two things.
John, they're blowing people out with Herb Welsh back there playing
Right.
safety.
Oh my goodness. Herbie. Yes.
Going way back.
Herb Welch.
Jeez.
You guys have an actual superstar quarterback. You need to do everything in your power to surround that guy. I agree with Mike 100%.
Yeah, I get if there's not an offensive lineman that high, and I get it, but but I agree with Mike on the other two positions, linebacker and someone safety or D-back are certainly needs. But if there's a stud offensive lineman up there, and I don't care if it's interior or tackle, you got to take him for the reason Novak just said. Right now, Dart's whole game is Dable and Kafka call a play that gets absolutely blown up by the defense, and Dart finds a way to complete a pass. That's our offense right now.
So, guys, as we're watching the Monday night game, the Chiefs just took a 28-7 lead in the fourth quarter. And the Chiefs now have one penalty for 15 yards in the game. So they do have a penalty.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen now? Those flags are going to be flying on the Chiefs now the game's locked up.
Let me guess. Was it a 15-yard taunting penalty after they scored? Was that what it was?
Probably.
I actually don't know. So Mike also asks a question: if we had an all expenses paid trip to space, or an all expense visit on anywhere on Earth for the next 10 years, so you could go anywhere you want for 10 years, all expenses paid, what would you take? And I think I've mentioned this before because we've talked about the space thing. I think Mike likes the space thing. He's asked a couple questions on space, but I'm traveling the world. I really don't want to be on a spaceship wasting time to go to a planet or anything like that. I'm traveling to every corner of the earth I can to see things.
Absolutely. Space, there's like no gravity. I wouldn't be able to drink, spill. I'd be drink. I wouldn't be able to, no. I'm going to beaches. I'm going to,
You're going to fly up there and say, hey, look, that dot down there is the Earth. Oh, great.
I'll tell you.
You're just
dark
up there.
I'll tell you the benefit you guys are missing on this, though. There's a thing you're missing on right now. Imagine being able to go into like a cryo sleep and say, wake me up when the Giants are good. Just imagine not having to go. You just wake up and it's like 2032 and the Giants are winning. And you're like, oh, that was awesome. Great. I don't want to know anything about the last 7 years. I don't want to hear a thing.
I want to go to the future with my Inside Sports magazine and place a bunch of bets like Biff did in Back to the Future.
There you go.
Heck yeah, man.
So Mike asks one more last question. Worst injury we've ever had. So I'll start with this because I never ran fast enough, jumped high enough, did things aggressively enough to hurt myself that badly. I pulled a hamstring in college, and to this day it still bothers me if the weather's cold or I'm on a long drive, but that's about it.
I playing baseball at Middletown South, Cardone. Went to catch a ball, and I had forgotten my cleats that day for practice, and I slipped, and I landed on my palm and broke my wrist in two places. And our shortstop, Joe Critelli, which Cardone might know the name, looked at it and threw up. So it must have been like scatteroo.
Damn.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had a real tragic sports injury. I was in a car accident where I got banged up pretty good, separated shoulder and broken hip, and I think I had a clavicle thing in there, Cardone. Clavicle.
Was that week 5? Was that like week 5 of this around of the NFL
It was a mess.
season?
I was down for a long time, but I recovered.
Yeah. I could easily go to. It sounds kind of cool. Snow skiing, torn ACL. You think like I was going over moguls and doing all kinds of fancy stuff. No. I was on this triple chairlift. I'm on the left side with 2 other guys. My friend in the middle, he just loses his balance. We're getting off the ski lift. I'm going 1 mile an hour. He loses his balance, falls into me. I can't get my left ski out of the fucking snow. Over to my left I go. I fall at a 90-degree angle. I actually, that they talk about feeling that pop and hearing it. I had that. So now I'm at the fucking top of the mountain. There's a little backstory here now too. I'm at the top of the mountain. I obviously can't ski down the fucking thing. I don't know I have a torn ACL. So I'm on the ground. A couple like one of the guys who's operating the lift. I'm the guy now. You know, so I'm at Camelback Mountain. So I don't know if you guys have ever snow skied. Whoever's so you know like when the whole lift stops and you're in the middle of a thing and you're like, oh, what the hell's going on up there? I was the guy that stopped the entire lift because I fell off right where you get off. You know, so the thing. So until they could move me, the lift couldn't move. I'm on the ground in the fetal position. My two friends ski off somewhere. They're fine. I'm now. So two guys come over that like employees. They're trying. They pick me up. They're like, can you stand? Can you ski? And I'm like, so I go, all right, let me try to get up. So I stand up. I'm like, back down, back down, back down. My knee immediately starts like swelling up. So this is back in I was 21 at it. This is back in 1990. You know what I mean? No cell phones, no nothing. So this guy gets on a fucking walkie-talkie, and he now has to like call the base camp, if you will, like I'm at Everest or something. He's like, we gotta call for mumbling something. They strapped me into the gurney and got to snowmobile me down off of Camelback Mountain. It's not over yet. So it's now this was the last run of the day, by the way. I was going home after this. Had to be the last run of the day. So it's now it's nighttime, right? So by the time all this happened, now it's dark. So I get strapped in this fucking gurney where and they drag you backwards. So you're laying on your back, but your head is behind. And this guy is driving 80 miles an hour up and down like moguls around trees. And I'm back there, slow the fuck down. I can't give him the thumbs down signal to slow down because my arms, I'm strapped in like a mummy in this thing, bouncing around. Not only now do I have a torn ACL, I got now bumps and bruises, and I'm concussed from being bounced around the mountain. So I finally get to the bottom of this thing. They give me an examination. They can't tell me what's wrong with me, right? So then from there, if anyone knows where Novak, Lincroft, New Jersey, Camelback Mountain, what is that, a 2.5 hour drive?
At least, yeah.
I get now. My friend drives me home, 2.5 hours in the car. My knee is swollen like a balloon. I get home at 11 p.m. I walk in. My dad, my parents are like, "What the hell happened to you?" Over to the emergency. Go over to Riverview Hospital over there in Red Bank. Torn ACL. Yep. So.
And all the while it's freezing cold.
But this snowmobile guy's driving 80 miles an hour down the mountain to get me down. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm yelling at the guy. Oh, but the snow was kicking up on my back of my head.
That's funny.
Like, what are we doing? Slow down.
Pierce, I know you've had to have some injuries.
I don't know if I can even follow that. I mean, now, yeah, probably the worst one I ever had. I mean, I've had broken thumbs, fingers, all that stuff playing ball, but probably the worst one was those early up north, those early spring days when it's really not quite that warm, but it's still cold and there's still frost on the ground and stuff like that. So I dove for a ball, separated my shoulder and chipped the bone in my shoulder. So literally I landed face down, the ground was still frozen. So I landed basically all the way on this. And the best thing about that was the morphine that they were giving me in the ambulance ride on the way back, because that was some really good stuff. But that was awful. That was probably the worst.
We used to do baseball practice in the spring, and we would do it in the gym, and we'd have the fake mound built up. It was basically it looked like a cornhole game, like you'd see now. It was this wooden thing, and you would pitch off of that. And every year we'd come down and play in the South. We'd play like a team in Myrtle Beach. We'd go to Myrtle Beach and play like a whole series, and we would show up. These are our first games. We're like snowbound. We'd play Georgetown, which is down near Myrtle Beach, and Georgetown's record at the time would be like 13-4. Like these guys have 17 games in, and this is our first game of the fucking year. We do actually pretty well, which was surprising at the time. But,
So lay your money on Georgetown is what you're saying, Scott?
I still remember watching a game. I was pitching against North Myrtle Beach High School, and they were televising the game, which I thought was amazing because up north they wouldn't televise a high school baseball game, so they're televising the game, and the guy with the southern accent kept calling me Scott Coast with the pitch. Coast delivers the ball.
Coast.
I was Coast. So yeah,
I think we need to find video of that somewhere.
Definitely.
I played against, I think it was Chris Benson. He went to Georgetown.
Pirates, right?
Pirates.
Yeah.
I think he was
And
with
the
the Mets
Jets,
for
or
a
the Mets.
while.
Yeah, he played for the
He
Mets.
was with
Yeah.
the Mets for a while.
Yep.
And we beat the team, and I was playing third base at the time, and there was a screaming line drive. Guys on first and second, 2 outs in the bottom of the seventh, because you only played 7 innings back then for high school games, and screaming line drive, and I did one of those just like matadors where I just threw my glove up, and it popped right in my glove, and it was the last out of the game. And I just remember their team like razzing me about, like the lucky catch, but it was like the game over. Fuck you, game over. Spike the ball on the ground, front of the middle. So, sure enough, penalties on the Chiefs coming.
I wasn't sure when you first asked the question, Scott. I thought you meant like, what's our worst injury like for the Giants? I started to think like, what's the worst injury we've had on the Giants?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
All right. I don't know the Scatabo one's pretty bad. I can't think of any real bad Giant injuries. When you think about, they've had a lot of injuries, but
Dennis Bird, paralyzed.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Is Dennis Bird dead now?
He is. He died in a car accident of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys got anything else tonight?
I want a very, very quick shout out to thank the first person to text me and congratulate the Jets on their win is one Mrs. Bonnie Hisman.
Hey, all right.
Not you guys, not friends, not family. She was 408 first text. Thank you. She's a very sweet person, and Mike, she's a gem.
Yeah, she has, like, every week when she listens to the podcast, and I'm like, because she listens every week, and she's like, man, I just feel so bad for Novak. So she was thrilled for you, man. That's really cool.
So, guys, we appreciate John coming on. I think
Great job,
second
John.
guest this
Yeah, John.
year. Second time we've had a guest. We had grander hopes of bringing on like opponent, guests, and that really hasn't worked out. Mainly because we can't find opponent fans that we really like to bring on. So it's good to have other Giant fans.
There was no way we could have had an Eagle fan on this podcast. That would not have gone.
The guys at the
Cardone.
bar,
one.
bar enough were pretty bad. So it's like,
No, hey, I appreciate you having me, guys. Really enjoyed it. You guys do a great job. Love listening to it every week. So I'll have to keep in touch with Scott in case one of you guys drops out. So
Awesome.
spread the word, John. Spread the word. So we are the Three Angry Giant Fans of the Jet Fan. This is your host, Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Jet Fan Novak. We'll be back next week to break down the Giants and Niners and celebrate the fact that the Jets are not going to lose for a second week in a row.
2 weeks without a loss.
Man,
2 weeks without a loss.
Novak's on vacation, man. That's awesome.
All right, boys.
All right.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Have a good week, everybody.